I'm losing my voice a bit, I don't know if you can tell. Hey guys, it's Tara, welcome back. I'm so excited to film a video because it's been so long since I've done a YouTube video, and the reason for that is last been a bit crazy. You might have to talk in the background, but I have moved house. Yeah, completely new room, a lot nicer than my old room. You might be able to see my bookshelf there. Ignore it because it's very gross. I haven't organised it yet because I've got a big book haul coming and I want to do it for a video, and yeah. So that's why I've been gone for so long. I've just been so busy like moving, organising my room, like back and forth between Liverpool and Birmingham. So I thought I'd get back into this whole YouTube thing because why not? And the video I'm filming today is called the 20 questions book tag. And last night when I couldn't sleep, I was scrolling through like book blogs because, you know, what else are you meant to do when you can't sleep? And I came across this on, it's called a Reading Ladies Book Club, and I'd never heard of it before, but yeah. So I was like reading through it and I was like, these questions are really, really difficult. Why not give a go and see if I can answer them? So that's what I'm doing today. And yeah, let's get into it. Don't know why I did that. I don't have a transition or anything. I just thought it'd be fun. So number one is, how many books are too many books in a series? This is like really difficult because sometimes you read a book and you know, I want about 50 more of these. But I think as long as like the author has something to say and there's more to like be told of the story and they're kind of like, you know, I think you just kind of know when a like series ends, so it honestly depends. But like, I don't like when authors kind of carry it out for the sake of carrying it out. Like if there's more to say, there's like questions that they answer and continue it, I'll happily read 50 books of a series I love. But like, don't just, if everything's all wrapped up, I don't like then like, oh, let's create another unnecessary problem because we need to make more books out of this, you know what I mean? So I think the answer is, it honestly depends. Like some are good with 3, some need like 30. Number 2 is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? I love a cliffhanger if the next book's already out. I love being like, I love reading something and then being like, oh, I need to read the next one right now, and then if the next one's already out. But I hate when you have to wait. For example, House of Sky and Breath. The end of that book, if you haven't read it, if you're a big Sarah J Maas fan but you haven't read that, get on it now because it had me screaming. Like when I say I screamed, I literally was like screaming. And I was like, I need the next book right now. But obviously I read that just as it came out. And now I'm gonna wait so long for the next one. So I love a cliffhanger. I hate waiting to get the cliffhangers resolved. Hardback or paperback? I'm not really fussy. I'll like read a hardback. I prefer the look of a hardback and the feel of a hardback, but like I wouldn't, you know, actively go out my way to, but I'm only wearing hardbacks or anything. Honestly, it depends on the price as well. Like sometimes you see a paperback for like £7 and the hardback's like 20. I'm like, I'm gonna get the £7 one. But I also like reading on my Kindle and stuff, so I'm honestly not fussy. I love hardbacks. I love the look of them, I love the feel of them. I love, you know, just the aesthetic, but I'm not fussy. Favourite book? This is the most difficult question ever. I hate getting asked this. I can't pick a favourite book. It's so difficult. I think I'd have to shout out A Court of Thorns and Roses as a series. That would be like one of my favourite. I love fantasy, so like The Hunger Games has like a special place in my heart. It's like nostalgia, so like I'd say that. And also I love Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. And then like Where the Crawdad Sings is like one of my favourites. Like, oh, it's so difficult. It changes every day. It depends on what I'm reading. Like right now I'm reading Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo again. I'm not just my favourite book ever, but I don't know. Least favourite book? A Deadly Education was very disappointing to me. I really like the concept, I really like the storyline, but overall I was just kind of like unimpressed. I get that I've seen a lot of people like it, so like obviously don't take my word as Bible. But yeah, I remember that's the one I was most disappointed in, but I don't really, that's all I can think of right now. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Love triangles, yes or no? I think yes. I love kind of rooting for one love interest in particular, but I think sometimes they're unnecessary. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, let's just get rid of the other guy now. Like I think they're very classic as well. Like the one that springs to mind, love triangle, is The Hunger Games. and yeah, I just think it's really fun to kind of root for someone, but I don't think they're always necessary. And I think sometimes it's like, I don't want to say this, but it's not like, it's a bit uninteresting. It's like, oh, let's add a different challenge for this couple to overface rather than like someone else in the mix, you know what I mean? Number 7 is the most recent book you just couldn't finish. I don't not finish books a lot. Like, if I don't like a book, I'll stick with it, and that's kind of what throws me into a slump. I should just stop reading books I don't want to read. But yeah, I think I've only ever like DNF'd one book, and it was years and years ago. Like literally, like I was probably literally like 13, 14. For context, I'm 20 now, and it's the only one I can think of right now, and it is Gone Girl. And I know a lot of people really like the movie. I haven't seen a lot about the book, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. But my sister lent it to me when we were on holiday, and I just couldn't get into it, so I just ended up putting it down. But maybe I'd like it now that I'm a bit older, but yeah, that's the only one I can think of that I've ever just not finished. Number 8, a book you're currently reading. Like I said, I am rereading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I am absolutely obsessed with that book. I'm obsessed with Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's just an amazing author, and yeah, I would recommend that to anyone. But also I think I hope you'll finish that soon, so I think then I need to read the next one in the Shatter Me series because I just finished Ignite Me, and I'm a really big fan of the series so far, so I'll definitely be continuing with that. Number 9, last book you recommended to someone. I'm always recommending books to people. My friends probably hate me for it. Like, I'm always kind of like lending them books. I mean, oh, you have to read this one, you have to read this one. I think the last book I recommended would have been, my friend brought Malibu Rising. But I think that's because I like convinced her to, and I told her to read that and 7 Husbands, both by Taylor Jenkins Reid. But yeah, I think most recent ones I've recommended Where the Crawdad Sings to my sister. Like I ended up buying her a copy for her birthday, so I'm like, no, read this, and she enjoyed that. So yeah, hopefully people like my advice. But I'm kind of always giving unsolicited, am I saying that right? Unsolicited recommendations. Yeah, that's right, innit? I think. But yeah, one thing to know about me is if you're my friend, I'll be like, oh, you should read this book. If you like this movie, you should read this book. Yeah. Number 10, oldest book you've read. I'd say like Shakespeare. I quite like a bit of Shakespeare. I really like Romeo and Juliet. Didn't really like Othello, but yeah, I'm a big Shakespeare fan. I've got some vintage Shakespeares that are from like the 20s and 30s that my sister got me for my birthday. I think last year, my 19th birthday, so they're like one of my prized possessions. I love them. Number 11, newest book you've read. I think the newest book I've read like since coming out would be House of Sky and Breath, which came out, when did that come out? Like March, I want to say, and I read that like April, so I think that's the newest one. But I'm quite behind on like new books and kind of catch up on trends a lot later than they are. Number 12, favorite author. This is really difficult. I'd say like Sarah J Maas is one of my favorite authors. I love everything she writes. She's obviously incredible. I feel like this one's a bit controversial, but Cassandra Clare. So not criticisms of her books, but also a lot of praise for her books. But I really, really like them. They're some of the first like fantasy series that I've really, really got into. And yeah, I'm a big fan of them. And who else do I like? I like Taylor Jenkins Reid, obviously. Recently as well, I've been enjoying Emily Henry. I need to read Book Lovers, but I've read You and Me on Vacation and what's it called? Beach Read. And I really, really enjoyed them. I read them on holiday and I really, really like them, and I like her style of writing. So she's up there with one that I'm really enjoying right now. But I think, yeah, Sarah J Maas as well is one of my favourites. And I actually wrote an article about her, which is on my website at Bookish Tara. I'm putting down to the description if you wanted to go and check that out. It's bookishtara.com. And yeah. Number 13 is buying books or borrowing books. I love buying books. It's actually a problem. Oops. But I like buying books because I love annotating them, highlighting them, and kind of having them then to reread or to recommend, like to give them, to lend them to a friend. Like I do that. But I do use the library a lot for uni work, so I'll like borrow a lot of books to do with like help with assignments and stuff, but when it comes to like leisurely reading books, then I will buy them. 14, a book you dislike that everyone else seems to love. I can't think of any. I've mentioned books that I kind of weren't a big fan of. I am gonna say I've never read a Colleen Hoover book, which I know a lot of people on like Book Talk and Books and BookTube have, and I'm not really in a rush to read a Colleen Hoover book because I've had some not very nice things about them. That's probably like, I know I should read them first to like gather my own opinion before I take anyone else's, but that's not really answering the question, but it's kind of like similar in that a book I haven't read that everyone else seems to love is anything by Colleen Hoover. Number 15, bookmarks or dog ears. I do not like dog earing. Not a fan. Not a fan. If you do, not a fan. My sister does it and it's just so much. I love a bookmark. I love like, I always use like random photos. So I'll show you my collection of bookmarks right now. So these are the bookmarks I have. My sister got me this one, which is like a magnetic one. Got a Sally Rooney one. I've got this super cute little Ravenclaw one, and this is my current read. And I'm using this, a printed out photo of Emma Watson because I love Emma Watson. Yeah, I had it on my wall. There was other pictures on the wall. I didn't just have a random picture of Emma Watson, but that would be okay. And it fell off. I'm just gonna use it as a bookmark. But yeah, I need more bookmarks. These are my 3. Number 16 is a book you can always reread. I think I can always read The Hunger Games. I love that because it's such a classic. Court of Thorns and Roses series, I can reread that a lot. What else do I reread a lot? I think I'll happily reread anything, to be honest. I love like that feeling of nostalgia, and then obviously there's things you miss, especially in a series. Once you've finished a series and you go back and read the first one, you notice so many things that you're like, oh, that comes in later, or that's like foreshadowing, or that's like similar to what happens in this one. So I really love rereading the first of any series, but I've read A Court of Thorns and Roses a good few times, so I really enjoy that. 17, can you read while listening to music? Yeah, I love listening to music while reading. I don't know if it's too loud, but I love having a playlist that reminds me of like the book I'm reading or some classical music. I like reading in public, so I know a lot of people don't like reading when there's noises about, but I'm okay with that. 18, one POV or multiple POVs. I honestly am not fussy. I think as long as it's written well and it's kind of like incorporates and gives you something more, I don't mind. I really enjoy how Shatame's written. It's all in one point of view, like the main books, and then the little mini novellas I like other characters' point of views. I think that's really interesting. But yeah, I think having multiple point of views, even if it's only for like 1 or 2 chapters or like something like that, can be really interesting because it's like you have a point of view, you know what I mean? You get to know. I also like hearing things from another person's point of view that you've already heard. So I'm going to use Twilight as an example, in that obviously all of Twilight was Bella's point of view, but then you get Midnight Sun and it's the same story you already know, but it's from a different point of view, and it like really changes things and makes you think differently about what you thought you knew. Yeah, I just think that's really interesting. And the final one is, do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? It really can depend. Like, yeah, it just depends what I'm doing, like what I've been up to that day and stuff. Mostly I try and break up into multiple days because my eyes start to hurt. But there's definitely been times when, I remember my first year of uni, there was so many times I couldn't sleep, so at 3 AM I'd just read books in one sitting. Like it'd be 3 AM, like, oh, I was gonna start a book, and then like it'd be 5 AM, like I finished the book, oops. But yeah, maybe not one sitting, but one like day. I do that a lot. I think the Summer I Turned Pretty, I read all 3 of those in a day and a half because I just like was obsessed and kind of them down. But bigger books I kind of like split up and stuff. And yeah, that is it for that. I thought do a nice tag to get me back into YouTube, but I enjoy answering those kind of questions. I love like really thinking about it and deep in it, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching. So if this video was maybe a bit messy or a bit like, you know, not YouTubery, because like bear with me, I am getting back into it. It's been a while. I also don't know if this is where I want to film from now on because it's quite far off. I couldn't decide. So yeah, Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All my socials will be down below. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.